It is 9:19. They were famous and powerful men whose crimes continue for years and years, seemingly right out in the open. How did the likes of R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein continue to work and thrive as they left so many victims in their wakes?
Northwestern law professor and former prosecutor Deborah Tuerkheimer addresses that as just one of the many patterns of the Me Too era. Her book is called Credible: Why We Doubt Accusers and Protect Abusers. She joins us this morning. Deborah, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
You talk about this credibility complex and talk about how that it happens that this whole idea of you have to have the perfect victim in order for them to be credible.
That's right. We take on board a set of misconceptions about abusers, abuse victims, and abuse itself. And one of those is the perfect victim archetype. This idea that women, typically, who are assaulted will fight back physically. They will not maintain contact with their abuser. They will not be drinking. They will not be wearing certain kinds of dress. And all of that leads us to discount the credibility of accusers who come forward, who deviate from that archetype in any way.
But is that all rooted in the fact that men ran the workplace, they ran the legal system, often ran the house? How do you, it's obviously changing, but how does that change more?
Yeah, I think that credibility is meted out along axes of power. And so wherever you see power imbalances and hierarchies, for instance, gender and workplace hierarchies, you're likely to see credibility meted out unfairly. And you're likely to see this credibility discount on the one hand and credibility inflation on the other.
In this age of social media, too, though, I'm sure there's some would argue that if you are accused of something and you are not guilty, you're also caught in this loop of being labeled as an accuser when you're not. So talk about the flip side of that.
Well, I think that for so long, our formal systems that are in place to adjudicate, to resolve accusations of abuse have really failed survivors. And so what we're seeing is increasingly this turn to informal channels like social media. My view is that our formal systems really need to improve so that survivors have a place where they can go and have some confidence that they will be treated fairly and that this credibility discount won't be so steep.
And what about the law? Is it insufficient? Is there something that needs to be changed to complete this process of fairness?
Absolutely. The law bakes in the credibility discount that I talk about. And so you mentioned earlier the credibility complex, and that consists of culture and law. Both have to change in order for survivors to be treated fairly and justly.
Talk about the statistics, the amount of statistics of young girls, especially young girls of color, that are sexually abused in their early before the age of 14, it's unbelievable. Talk about that.
It really is, upwards of 50% by some estimates. And I will say that for every Black woman who's sexually assaulted, who reports her rape, 15 Black women who are sexually assaulted do not report theirs. So I think this goes to the silencing effects of the credibility complex and how difficult it is to come forward only to be distrusted, blamed, disregarded.
What do you think about the fairness of someone coming forward 5 or 10 years later? I know that that's been the case in the past, and we know why that's been the case in the past. Going forward, do you think that that should change in terms of the law?
Well, I think what we'll see is that as our culture and our law evolve to respond more fairly and to, essentially stop meting out this credibility discount, that's when you're likely to see more survivors coming forward closer to the abuse itself. And this lag time that we now see very typically is liable to shrink. And that's that's the hope for everyone, right? For people who are victims of abuse, for people who are accused of abuse, we'd like to see this lag time shrink, but it's not possible now because we have these structures in place that dismiss accusers all too readily.
Well, the book is Credible: Why We Doubt Accusers and Protect Abusers. Deborah Tuerkheimer, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.